have something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little surprise. Okay, so this is something that has been planned for a little while now. Something that a couple of my friends had the idea of doing. I've always known that I wanted to get married. Like from a young age, from a little girl, my sister and I would always play bride and groom, and we'd pretend to walk down the aisle at like ages 5 and 7 years old. And so from a young age, I always knew that I had the desire to get married. And as I got older, I began to pray for the person that I was going to marry, and I began to start to think about the person I'm going to marry and think about just kind of the reality of what that means to spend your life with someone. And so, sorry, a couple of my friends and I had the idea to go shopping for a special something for our future husbands. And so we bought ties, and we decided that we were going to use these ties as a reminder to pray for the person that we're going to marry. And even though we hadn't met them yet, we were going to pray over them and pray that they'd be pursuing Christ, and pray for ourselves that we wouldn't just settle for anybody, but that we would hold out for the person that is actually worth spending our lives with. And so I bought this tie, and little did I know, a week later is when I met you for the first time.
That's awesome.
So
wow. It's the color. Right?
It's our wedding color.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much, babe. That's awesome.
This tie holds a lot of meaning and a lot of prayers. I remember the day we bought it, and it just kind of hit me. I had this realization that, like, I'm going to get married someday, and I'm going to meet this person someday. And because I think, like, when you're single and when you just, it's kind of just this fantasy, you know. It's like the idea of getting married is just this like fantasy, you know. You read about it, you see people getting married, but you don't really understand it until you experience it for yourself. And so I remember I was circling the tie display, and I was just like the person I'm gonna marry is alive. Like, he's out there somewhere. Like, I just had this moment of like I'm gonna marry somebody someday, and this is real, and I need to take it seriously, and to know that I can be praying for him now before I even know who he is. I can be praying for him. It was a cool moment for me, and it was crazy that I also kind of had this moment with God of a prayer, and then a week later meeting you for the first time, and in the back of my mind the whole time knowing that I had just bought this tie, and then I'm just meeting this guy, and what if he's the one, and what does this mean? So I don't know.
All the questions,
but it's cool now, I think, to look back and kind of see the story on the flip side, and to kind of see how God was working through all the different pieces of our relationship to get us where we are today. Because I think in the moment sometimes you don't always see all the pieces, you don't understand exactly what's happening, but in hindsight you can look back and see that God's hand was on all of it, and it's a really cool story to look back and see.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool.